بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. سبحانك اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. والكامل لله في ذاته وفي صفته وناقص ذات لم يكمل له عمل. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, today we are going to continue with this book, البداية في فقه العبادة, which is teaching us the acts of ibadat according to the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today we are going to talk about al-Ghusl. This is the section we are going to talk about. Earlier we talked about water, the types of water, which water is permissible for us to use for spiritual bath or ablution. Then we talked about al-najasat, what is al-najasat and what is al-Tahara, what is considered dirt and what is considered clean. We then talked about al-wudu, how to do ablution and the principles there, which was the last section we discussed before Ramadan. So inshallah today we are going to start al-Ghusl, which is bath. Bath, generally there are two types of bath. There is a spiritual bath, al-Ghusl, Ghusl al-Ada. You just wash your body, that's Ghusl al-Ada. And there is Ghusl al-Ibadah. There is a bath which is done for spiritual purpose. So the kind of bath we are going to talk about here is the bath for spiritual purpose. And we do that in order to clean ourselves from an-najasa or dirt, which what is considered dirt in Islam. So when we do that, then we will have permission now to perform other acts of ibadah. So the reason for all of this is just for us to do an act of ibadah that will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the reasons for this. So al-Ghusl, bath, spiritual bath. Al-Ghusl huwa ifadatul ma'i. Al-Ghusl, bath, is pouring water, putting water. Al-Tahuri, which type of water? Clean water. Is pouring clean water. And what type of water is clean and what type is not is considered unclean? I think we have already covered this part during the first lesson, so we don't need to go back there. So in this case, you see, this is why we say this bath is a spiritual bath. What differentiates spiritual bath from a normal bath is the first thing, the type of water to be used. Al-Ghusl al-Ada, like normal bath, you can use any water, it's your choice. But when it comes to Ghusl al-Ibadah, spiritual bath, it has to be clean water. And what water is considered clean according to Islamic rulings is the water which color, taste, and odor have not changed. This is the general description of clean water. If there is an alteration in any of these properties, then that water is considered unclean, even though there are some exceptions, like we talked about when it's mixed with the sand. That one is an exception. You can use it and it's considered spiritually clean. Why? Because the normal nature and the attitude of water is to interact with sand. When it comes from the sky, it falls to the ground. It mixes with sand. If it comes from underground, from the well, it's also mixing with sand. So this is one of the exceptions. So one of the properties of spiritual bath is using clean water. And the second, ala jami'il badani. How do you use the clean water? How do you pour the clean water? Ala jami'il badani. All over the body. This is another differentiating factor. In normal bath, it's your choice to wash whatever part you want. But if it is a spiritual bath, you have no option but to clean or to pour the water all over the body. And condition number 3, ma'an niyyati, with an intention. This is a major defining term. This is a major defining factor. For normal bath, You don't need to make any niyat, it doesn't matter. But for spiritual bath, you have to make that intention. And we talked about how to make an intention earlier. It's something that you do with the heart, with the mind. You don't pronounce it. You don't need to pronounce it. You don't need to say, naway to this, naway to that. No. You just have to be محلها القلب. قال الله تعالى وإن كنتم جنبا فطهروا. So as usual, he is bringing some Quranic verse or hadith as a reference to what he says. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you become junuban فطهروا, that is, if you are spiritually dirt, then you have to clean. That's why there is a major cleaning and a minor cleaning. A minor cleaning is something you clean by using ablution, and this we use in hadath al-asghar. Like if you go to the bathroom, you urinate, you just need ablution. So this is minor cleaning. But for major one, al-tahara, it means al-ghusl, like al-janaba. That's why he brings the reference for janaba here, because this al-tahar for taharu, it means spiritual bath, not ablution. So this is generally the definition of al-ghusl in Islamic context. Now, موجبات الغسل, the next page, page 20. موجبات الغسل, the necessities for spiritual bath. What are the things that if they happened, we have to take this spiritual bath before we can do any act of ibadah? He said, وَهِيَ الْأُمُورُ الَّتِي تُوجِبُ الْغُسْلَ. These are things that make it compulsory for bath على المسلم, on every Muslim, إذا حدثت, if they happened. If any of these things happen to any Muslim or Muslimat, we must perform bath before we can proceed with any act of ibadat. وهي سبعة, there are 7 in number. First, خروج المني في اليقظة. خروج المني, the releasing of al-mani. And we discussed about mani earlier. It's a secretion, it's a seminal fluid that is secreted by both men and women as a result of desires. As a result of desires, either in sleeping or when awake. So when this mani is released, it is compulsory for any Muslim to take a shower before performing any act of ibadat like salat and what have you. في اليقظة, that's if they are awake. مع الشهوة, this is a condition, but with desires. If it is accompanied by sexual desires, because there are many scholars who goes by the decision that if money comes out of a person but without the intention, without any sexual desires, then that does not necessitate a shower. You just need to clean it, that's all. But for a shower, because sometimes one of the things that Sayyid Sabiq brings in Fiqh Sunnah, that shiddatul bard, sometimes if it's excessively cold, it can lead to that. And sometimes emotional stress, sometimes it can lead to that. So they say, if it happens, if it comes out not with the intention of any desires, then it does not necessitate bath. And he supports this view. That's why he says ma'a shahwati. So it's not al-itlaq aw fi nawmi, or when someone is sleeping, that during the process of sleeping, or if someone is sleeping, usually it happens in 2 forms. Either a person is dreaming about an opposite partner, and when they wake up, or when a person wake up, they realize that yes, they have released money. In that case, they must take a shower. But there is a situation in which a person could even remember, yes, he or she has a dream that they are having intercourse, but when they wake up, there is no release of money. So in that case, the shower is not compulsory. So that's why the main determining factor is the coming out of the sperm. If it comes out either awake or asleep, then it necessitates the bath. However, it depends. If it comes out as a result of other factors like extreme cold, extreme emotional stress, things like that, there are many scholars that say in that case it's not compulsory on a person to take a spiritual bath. And one of the backings for the hadith for saying that whenever there should be a release before a shower is the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, al-ma' min al-ma'. Water comes from water, meaning that you use a water to clean yourself when you release a water. So if there is no release, then there is no shower. If there is release, then there is shower. So this is the most generally accepted concept among the scholars. This is the first. And second, التقاء الختانين, the contact, physical contact of private parts between man and woman, ولو من غير إنزال, even without a release. So this is an exception. So in the first case is if someone is sleeping and he sees the seminal secretion, they have to take a shower. Then in this case, التقاء الختانين, if the opposite partners have physical contact, whether there is release or there is no release, they have to take a shower. Because there was a time when someone asked Prophet ﷺ that what would happen if a person is having an intercourse with his partner and they didn't release, they just separate. Ummina Aisha radiallahu anha was there, he said, أنا أعرف ذلك وهذه. He said, sometimes I do this with her and I take a shower after that, or we take a shower after that. So that's why some, they even define al-janaba by contact. So they say if there is any physical contact between persons, male and female private parts, then the janaba has happened and they must take a shower. And this, they give a condition of al-ilaj, al-dukhul, there must be al-ilaj. If there is no al-ilaj, if there is no physical entry, then that does not necessitate. Because al-janaba is the physical entity, that is what is considered. So some scholars say, even if, let's say, partners, they are having the contact and it happens that there is no dukhul, there is no ilaj, there is no entry, and one of the partners releases, now the bath is on the person that releases, not on the opposite partner, because there is no dukhul, there is no ilaj. So here, meaning we have 32 things, 2 to 3 things here. First, if there is inzal, if there is a release, either someone is sleeping or not sleeping, but on a condition that it comes, the release comes as a result of desires, sexual desire. And second, if there is physical contact between male and female private parts, but if there is a dukhul, if there is entry, then it necessitates the bath before salat or before other acts of ibadat. So this is the second. You see, al-Islamu ba'al al-kufri, the third one. If someone becomes a Muslim, a person who converts to Islam, or who revert, we can use the word revert because everybody is a Muslim unless it be, because كل مولود يولد على الفطرة فأبوه يحودانه أو يمجسانه. So everybody is a Muslim unless if they grow and somehow they are trained not to be a Muslim, or sometimes somebody convinced them not to be Muslims. So that's why we better use the word revert. So if someone reverts to Islam, then they have to take a shower. But in this case, he put it under wajib, meaning compulsory. But there are 3 views. There are 3 general views among scholars here. There are views that says it's compulsory, like Imam Malik and Ahmad, that it's compulsory that anybody who reverts to Islam must take a shower. because there was one Sahaba that converts or reverts to Islam, and Prophet ﷺ asked him to go and take a shower. There's also Sumamah bin Uthal. When he accepts Islam, Prophet ﷺ said that take him to a place where there is water and he should take a shower. So they say, okay, this is compulsory. And there are some that say, no, it is compulsory only if they have janaba before converting to Islam. Let's say a person was a Christian or was a non-Muslim, and he happens to have janaba as a result of either al-ihtilam, either he dreamed or he's married, things like that. And then the next day in the morning, he decides, oh, I'm going to accept Islam. After he accepts Islam, then now he has to take a shower. Why? Because of the janaba. But this is the second view. And the third is, they say it's mustahab, like it's not compulsory. And one of those is Imam Abu Hanifa. One of the reasons he brings here, anything before Islam is deleted after you become a Muslim. Okay, why do they need a shower? But this is one of the reasons they bring, but it's generally not accepted because it says that no, that hadith is talking about the deeds, the negative deeds, the bad acts that somebody performed. It doesn't mean like even if you come, then you don't have to take a shower. So that's why the most generally accepted views is that if a person becomes a Muslim, reverts to Islam, they must take a shower. That's why he also brings it under Mojubat and Ghusl. So according to the author of this book also, a person has to take a shower, but there are three major views. The fourth one to the fifth, انقضاء دم الحيض والنفاس, the stoppage of menstrual blood or postnatal blood. If the menstrual blood, there's menopause, a woman menstruated for a month, depending on the number of days, when it stops, she has to take a spiritual bath. Or if she gave birth and then when the fast comes, she also has to take a bath before she continue her normal duties. Salatul Jum'ah, and also during Jum'at Fariya. He also put it under compulsions that you must do it. So there is also two views. There are some scholars that goes by it's necessary for any Muslim to perform Salatul Jum'ah, Ghusl al-Jum'ah before coming to Jum'at Fariya. And because of the saying of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ghusl al-Jum'ah wajibun ala kulli muhtalim. Wajib. So it says wajib, so it's compulsory. So many scholars, they take it as literally as it is. Okay, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says it's wajib, so it's wajib. And then there are some that say, no, it's mustahab, that wajib, because even according to the principles of Surah al-Fiqh, sometimes a word can be expressly said as wajib, but the context will change it to mustahab or mandu. It depends on the context. Or if there is some other sayings that show that it's not wajib, and then it's changed to mustahab. Because Prophet ﷺ also said that if a person performs ablution, فَنِعْمَ, but if you take a shower, فَالْغُسْلُ أَفْضَلُ. So here it clearly shows that okay, al-ghusl afdal. So some scholars take it as mustahab, not as wajib, but the author here also take it as wajib. So there are two views in this case: Salatul Jum'ah or Ghusl Salatul Jum'ah. Al-Mawtu, death. Of course, if a Muslim die, we have to be washed. وَهَذَا وَاجِبٌ مُتَعَلِّقٌ بِمَنْ حَضَرَ مَوْتَ الْمُسْلِمِ. This is compulsory if a Muslim, or if a death comes to a Muslim, إِلَّا إِذَا كَانَ شَهِيدًا, except if a person is shaheed. If a person is shaheed, someone who dies in spiritual battle, then in this case, في حرب, in war, that's Islamic or spiritual war, في حرب إسلامية لأنه يدفن في دمائه, because that one will be buried in his or her blood. Because the blood will be having nice smell in the hair after. So that's why only those who die as shuhada should not be washed. But if a Muslim died, they should be washed before they've been buried. So these are the 7 compulsions or things that when they happen, a Muslim must take a shower. And you can clearly see that al-Islam ba'd al-Kufr, there is disagreement among scholars, and there's Salatul Jum'ah, also there is disagreement. These are the only 2 where there are disagreement, and the author, he clearly states his position by putting them under موجبات الغسل. And as we have said, in these situations, sometimes some of the reasons that scholars gave for changing ruling, sometimes in one place you see it's wajib, sometimes Prophet ﷺ say it's mustahab, for example, in these cases. Sometimes they say it depends on the condition. Sometimes at the beginning of Islam, in order to encourage people to do something, then it's considered yes. And then sometimes things changes like this. So, Wallahu a'lam. The second, al-aghsal al-mustahabba. Al-aghsal al-mustahabba, the bath or that are mustahabba, that are needed, like we want to do them. These are the wants, the wanting condition that we can take a spiritual bath. These are the compulsories. Then the second is the wants. It's not compulsory, but it is very good if we do that. And we have mentioned that al-wajibat, when you say something is wajib, meaning if you do it, you will be rewarded. If you refuse to do it, you will be punished. This is al-wajib, so this is different. Or if you do it, if it's something that you have to leave, if you leave it, you will be rewarded. If you do it, you will be punished. So this is the major difference. While in the case of al-mustahab, if you do it, you will be rewarded. If you don't do it, there is no punishment. So these are the major differences. Number 1, al-iqtisadu lil-eidayn. Taking a spiritual bath, and of course we're going to see the nature of the bath. Taking a spiritual bath in Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. So after Ramadan, the Eid, before we go to the prayers, we have to take that spiritual bath. Or Eid al-Adha, we have to take that spiritual bath. So this is mustahab, it's not compulsory. If you do it, it's better, you will be rewarded. If you don't, there is no problem with that. Al-iqtisalu ba'da al-iqamati min al-ighma'i. Al-iqtisalu, taking a shower ba'da al-iqama, after waking up, min al-ighma'i, from dizziness or drowsiness. Somebody loses their consciousness as a result of being knocked in the head, for example, or something, or they are sick, they didn't know their condition, and somebody became dizzy, they don't know what is in their surroundings. So after they got up, it's really encouraged for a person to take a spiritual shower. Because if we could remember someone become dizzy after they wake up, the ablution is broken, even if they have it. Why? Because they are not conscious. They don't know what they did when they were unconscious. Things, al-ahdath, could happen, but they are in their own awareness. So that's why ablution is generally considered broken. So we know that it's compulsory for someone to have ablution after they wake up. But for a bath, it's encouraged. If we do it, it's really good. If we don't do it, then it's not compulsory. Ablution is enough. Al-ightisalu lil-ihram bil-hajj wal-umrah. Taking a shower when somebody is going to put al-ihram in hajj or umrah. The fourth, al-ghusl li-dukhuli Makkah. If a person is going to enter Makkah, then they need to take a shower. It's one. If they do it, it's good, but it's not compulsory. Al-ghusl inda kulli jima'i idha ta'addada. Al-ghusl inda kulli jima'i idha ta'addada. Taking a shower in the event of any intercourse between husband and wife, if they are going to do it one after one more time. For example, after one, and if they want to go again, then they should take a shower before. This is mustahab, it's not compulsory. Al-Ghusl ba'da taghasil al-mayyit, taking a shower after washing a dead body. If someone washes a dead body, then it's encouraged that they should also take a spiritual bath. They should shower themselves. الاغتسال المستحاضة لكل صلاة. A bath for a woman that has damul istihada. That's what we call damul istihada, which we are going to do. It's coming next. Damul istihada is the blood that women release, which is outside damul hayd. It's not menstrual blood, and it's not damul nifas. It usually happens as a result of problem with their veins that release blood uncontrollably. So when this happens, usually what is on them, they need to perform ablution. But if they can take a shower, that is really encouraged. We are going to do it, and it's rulings because there is different section for it. So if woman is having this kind of problem, of course they should see a doctor because it's a medical condition. If they have this kind of problem and it's coming, so it's really encouraged that when they come to pray, they take a shower. But if they don't take a shower, they can just take ablution and pray. But the shower is encouraged. Ghusl al-wuqufi bi Arafah. During the day of Arafah, if someone is going to stand during the Arafah, then it's good if we take a spiritual bath. And in this case, when we say bath, we mean spiritual bath. And spiritual bath, there should be niyyat. This is one of the conditions. And there is a specific type of water that we should use, and there is a specific format that we should follow, which is coming next. Al-ightisalu min dafanil mushrik, taking a shower after burying mushrik, someone who is has no religion, who is not a Muslim. So if you bury someone, you take them, you need to wash yourself, but it's not compulsory. Even though clearly we can see that al-ghusl ba'da taghasil al-mayyit. In this case, it's referred to Muslim. But in this case, definitely mushrik, it's referred to non-Muslim mushrik. So it is not compulsory. So these are the things that are encouraged for us to take a shower if we are going to do them or after we performed them. Now, kayfiyyat al-ghusl, the manners of the bath, how to take the bath. So in this case, we're going to see the difference between a normal bath and a spiritual bath. And all these conditions, the mojibat and the mustahabbat that were mentioned, when any of it happened and we want to take a spiritual bath, this is the format that we should follow in doing it. He said, for umdatuna, our reasons في هذه الصفة, in this manner that we are going to mention, هي ما يحويه, it is what is encompassed حديث عائشة وميمونة, in the hadith of Ummina Aisha رضي الله عنها وحديث ميمونة رضي الله عنها. So he combined these two hadith. They describe the nature or the manner of taking a spiritual bath, and the hadith were put together, and then they come up with a single format for us to easily follow. رضي الله عنهما وهي مجموعهما. Both of them نلخص ما يأتي. We're going to summarize them in what is coming as follows. So the first thing, يستحضر المغتسل النية. A person who is going to take a shower will have an intention that they are going to take a shower which is going to permit them to perform acts of ibadah. Fil qalb, but in the heart. The position for niyyah is al-qalb, not tongue. دون التلفظ بها, without pronouncing it, without saying it, without expressing it, because that is bid'ah. There is no place where Prophet ﷺ pronounced that I intend to do this or I intend to do that. And even some of the scholars are saying it's a bit even not encouraged to say no, because the moment you stand up, you already have your intention. Okay, then why do you need to say it? Who are you telling it to? You are not telling it to anybody. So that's why mahalluha al-qalb, the origin or the position for niyyah or intention is the heart. بدون تلفظ بها, without pronouncing it, لا سرا, not in the heart. You don't pronounce it like nawaitu, for example. That is sirran, you don't do that. ولا جهرا, or expressing it so that anybody will hear. The difference between sirran and jahran, sirran is saying it to the extent that it's only you that heard it, that is sirran. But jahran is saying it while someone who is closer to you can hear it. So in either case, we are not permitted to do that. We just have it in our mind that we are going to do this and we go ahead to do it. So this is the first step, having the intention that you're going to take a shower, which is spiritually, and why are you going to do it is to take away whatever hadath that prevents you from performing salat, for example. So if someone have janaba and it happens that they are coming to pray, so the niyyah, in your mind you will have it intended that you will take this shower so that the janaba will go and you can pray. So this will permit. And we have also talked that if there are many ahadath, for example, somebody has janaba, for example, and then maybe after that then hayd come, for example, and then maybe we have another hadath, maybe 3 or more hadath at the same time. You don't need to separate, yeah? You just make an intention of taking a shower so that all this will go and you can perform your prayer. You don't need to have it the first niyat for janaba, second niyat for haila, second, just one niyat to permit you to perform your ibadah is enough. You don't need to make it multiple times. Second step after niyat, يغسل اليدين ثلاثا. We will wash our hands 3 times قبل بدء الغسل, before starting the shower. So we're going to wash our hands 3 times. And as usual, it's better, it's not compulsory, but it's better to start washing the right before the left. So first wash the right 3 times, second wash the left 3 times, but that is not compulsory. It's mustahab. If you do it, okay. If you don't do it, it's not compulsory. That's why I didn't even mention it here. يغسل الفرج بالشمال. After washing the hands, then يغسل الفرج بالشمال. We wash our private parts with the left hand. وما أصابه, and what is attached to it, to the farj, min al-adha, from the dirt. If it's money, then we wash the money that is attached to it. If it is anything, let's say madhi, even though in madhi we don't need to take a shower, we just ablution is enough in madhi, we need to wash it. But so let us take, or if it's high blood, menstrual blood, if it happens, it touches the private parts, then it has to be washed away together with the all organ. So this is the third step. First, niyyah, second, washing hand, and third, washing the private parts, along with whatever is attached to it, which is part of the dirt. The fourth step, يغسل اليد اليسرى بعد غسل الفرج. You will wash, or we will wash our left hand after washing the private parts, because we use the left hand to wash the dirt that is attached to the private part. So now we are going to wash the hand. How? Biturabi. We can use a sand. And why he said a sand? Because Prophet ﷺ did the same thing, which happens because of the nature of their bathrooms. Yes, because it's a floor, so they use sand. In our case, we don't even find the sand in the toilet. So meaning our case is going to be different. We're going to use any detergent that we have, which will wash the hand. The aim is just cleaning. So that's why here in this case it says big turab. So we don't have to find turab and keep it on there. We don't have to do that. Or بالحائض or wall. If we have access to the wall, we can wash it. And still, we should maintain that we know when we are talking about this, we are linking it with what we did earlier, with wall. But what type of wall? Yes, we already discussed the conditions. So those conditions should be in mind, not just anything that you see like this place, because it doesn't have the nature of washing away the dirt, and it also so this. أو بالحائض إذا أمكن, if it is possible. So you see, he even bring the possibility now, because usually nowadays we don't build our houses in the old format. So إذا أمكن, if it's possible. وإلا فبالصابون, if not, then we can use any detergent, any sabun, anything that is going to wash our hands, we can use it. So this is the fourth step. The fifth step, يتوضأ وضوءه للصلاة. You will perform ablution just like you are going to pray. Ablution, like we perform ablution in the prayers, which we all know. ويجوز تأخير رجلين. It's permitted to delay washing of the foot. It's permitted إلى آخر الغسل, to the end of the shower. So after doing everything like we do in ablution, when we come to wash the foot, so we don't wash them. We now proceed, take the shower. After the shower, then we wash the foot. And this is also part of the format the Prophet ﷺ did, according to one of the hadith that he mentioned. And they said, why did he do that? Someone gave an explanation. Of course, because it's sand then. So they say after, if he washes the foot before the shower, if he showers the water, the sand will fall on the foot. So it happens that then he has to wash 2 times. So some scholars are saying this is the reason why Prophet ﷺ delayed it, such that after the shower, you wash the foot separately, so that even if you already showered and the sand will not fall on the foot, so that it will. So that's what it's delayed, according to what was said. So it's permitted. It's not compulsory. It's permitted because now we have tiles. So even if you shower, there is no sun that is going to come and spoil the leg. So you can wash the leg and then take the shower. Or if you want, you can copy just like the Prophet ﷺ did. You delay the foot and then take the shower. So that's why you say وَيَجُوزُ. And when we say ijaz, generally in usul al-fiqh term, when we say ijaz, it's going with the context of mandub. Like if you do it, okay. If you don't do it, okay. It's ijaz. Okay, it's permitted. You can do it. If you do it, fine. If you don't, it's also fine. So there is no reward sin ratio. There is no reward punishment ratio here. It's just something that is flat. Number 6, yufidul ma'a ala ra'si. Now after the ablution, you will pour water on the head, thalathan, 3 times, hatta yablughu usul al-sha'ri, until the water reaches the roots of the hair. So we pour the water, meaning, so when by just looking at that statement, it will give you 2 things. First, we need volume. The amount of water should be high because it's defined. What we need or what should happen is defined. It should reach the roots of the hair. And also, the volume will be determined by the amount of hair a person has. It's not something that is fixed, defined. It's something that is very, very subjective. But the main target is what? The water should reach the roots of the hair. Okay, now the volume will be determined by the amount of hair that you have. And so when we put enough volume so that the water can reach the roots of the hair, and then we should use our hands to create spaces for the hair also, because when you create the spaces, that is when the water can go deep inside. So that's why generally you see we dip our hands, our fingers or phalanges through the hair, so that we're going to create the spaces for water to go to the roots. So that's why I say يفيض الماء ثلاثا, 3 times حتى يبلغ أصول الشعر until it reaches the roots of the hair مع تخليله, with rubbing it. So we have to do rubbing it. Why do we rub it? So that we can have spaces for water to go through. Number 7, after the hair, يفيض الماء على سائر الجسد. Then you pour water all over the body, throughout the rest of the body, مبتدئا بالشق الأيمن, beginning from the right side, ثم الأيسر, then the left side. So while pouring the water, after washing the hair, then you pour water on the right side and then on the left side. But as I've been mentioned earlier, an ayman qabla al-aysar is mustahab. If you do it, it's good. If you don't do it, it doesn't mean the shower is invalidated. It's still valid. ثم يتنحى, and then you will move, you will shift عن موضعه, from your previous spot, So if your person is here, now you shower the water, and then التنحى, move to the other spot, ويغسل قدميه. That is if you delay it. If you don't delay, then earlier, because remember earlier he said it's ijaz, we can delay the washing of the foot. If you do that, then you can move aside and then wash the foot. If you already wash the foot, then you don't need to wash the foot again. After pouring the water, then that's all. So that's why it says ثم يتنحى عن موضعه ويغسل قدميه. Then you move from your spot and change to other spot and then wash your legs. So in this case, the shower is complete. You see, وهذه الصفة, this manner هي التي تسمى بصفة الكمال. It's the manner that is called sifatul kamal. That is the manner of completeness, like the complete form of spiritual bath is performed al-mustahabba, which is the most recommended. This is the most recommended format. لكونها مستفادة, because it's really beneficial, ومأخوذة, and it's gotten من عدة أحاديث, from many ahadith, from many teachings of the Prophet ﷺ and the acts of Prophet ﷺ. Then, but he said, فَلَوْ اقْتَسَرَ الْمُسْلِمُ, if a Muslim will restrict himself على البعض الوارد, on some parts of what have been mentioned, some parts of the body, piha, in those that are mentioned, ajza'ahu, is enough for him. Meaning, even if you don't do some part, but you do some parts of the body, then it's enough. But which part? Now we are going to see. لكن بشرط تعين جميع البدن بالماء, but with the condition that all parts of the body is powered upon by the water, meaning the water reach all parts of the body. So even if, for example, parts like washing the hands 3 times, even if you don't do it, then it does not harm. It's just that you do not do the sifatul kamal. Let's say, for example, parts of dipping, for example, the head, but you do it in a way that the water reaches all over the body. So that is also ajza'ahu, that is also enough. So the main thing, okay, I think he's going to mention it in the future. So the main thing here is that these steps is the best recommended format. But if any of the steps, like say like performing ablution, for example, because in this case we have to perform ablution, but let's say you don't perform ablution and then you just pour water all over, let's say a shower, for example. You open a shower with the intention to wash all parts of the body, then it's enough. Even if you don't move from this part to this part, wash legs or wash this separate, you just pour water, make sure water reaches everywhere, then you say it's okay. And this is what we call sifatul ijza. We call it the manner which is enough. It's enough to permit you to perform any act of ibadah, but it's not sifatul kamal. and if you do it, it's okay. So that's why I say لكن بشرط تعميم جميع البدن بالماء, but with the condition that all parts of the body has water on it, or the water reaches all parts of the body, all the nook and crannies. ثم تكون الأغسال المعلومة في الإسلام الواجبة, and it is, you make it part of the shower that we know in Islam, which is compulsory, meaning you intend that yes, even if you pour water from the shower, or if you dip in a sea or whatever you are washing, in your heart you know that, in your mind you know that you are taking this shower as part of Islamic shower, which is compulsory for you to perform acts of ibadat. Awil masnuna, or it's masnuna because remember he has mentioned موجبات الغسل والمستحب. So either which one you do, you have to know that you are doing it. على هذه الصفة, in these manners, لا غير, not any other manner. إلا أن الغسل مع الحيض, is saying but washing or bath من الحيض, as a result of menstrual blood, there is addition. All spiritual baths are all in this format, but in the case of al-hayd or nifas or postnatal blood, yuzadu alayhi ma ya'ati, they are going to do more of what is coming, meaning there are more steps for them. So for women that are having menstrual blood or that are having postnatal blood, there are some other steps that they should include in addition to these mentioned steps. These are, number one, isti'mal sidrati, using load 3. We call it load 3, Sisyphus 3. It's a sidra. That's a sidra is well known. So the leaves of a sidra, if a woman is using the water for haid or nifas, they can use that load 3, put it in the water. Why they put it? Because it has the cleaning property to clean their body better, and also to lead the body from the bad smell of the blood, because they release blood and the blood is a dirty blood, so it has bad smell. This helps in removing that smell. So that's why they can add it. Or a sabun or a soap, any detergent that can wash the body, that can add some smell, or that can clean away or wash away the natural smell of the blood, which is which is al-kariha, which is not good. وَنَحْوِهِ, and many of this type ma'al together with the water. So instead of using normal ordinary water, women that are having damul haid or nifas, they can add away the blood area or the spots where the blood is present in her body. وَذَلِكَ لِزَوَالِ رَائِحَةٍ, وَذَلِكَ, and this, why do we do this? لِزَوَالِ رَائِحَةٍ, is just to clean away the smell, al-kariha, the unwanted smell, because the blood is having unwanted smell. So in addition to using the detergent or load 3, they can also use, there is a special perfume they use, and they use cotton and they clean away the spots where the blood is present. This helps in further purification. Third additional stage, istihbab halal dhafairi. It's good, but this is not something that they should do, that they unwind their braids, but it's not necessary for them to do, because even Prophet ﷺ was asked, is it compulsory that they do that? He said, no, it's enough for them just to pour water 3 times is enough, so they don't need to do that. But if they have time, which is of course very tedious, because it's not even encouraged, because in Islam, anything that is mushaqqa, in most cases you see there is rukhsa there. So if this is encouraged, it will lead to what? Mushaqqa, because imagine unbraiding all the braids anytime, so it's not encouraged, even though he mentioned it, but it's not encouraged. Because Prophet ﷺ clearly mentioned that they don't need to do it. So istibab halal dhafairi litamakkuniha min usul al-ma, just for better reach. So that's why I say they can unwind it, but one, for better reach of the water. إلى أصول الشعر, to the roots of the hair. So these are the additional steps for women that are having dam al-hayd or dam al-nifas. But the most significant ones are the first two, are the most recommended ones, using sidra or sabun in the water and using cotton with perfume so that they can clean away the blood from their body. Now, third part, فوائد متعلقة بالغسل, some benefits, some additional advantages that are related to this spiritual bath. The first one, إذا اغتسل المسلم غسل الجنابة. If a Muslim performed غسل الجنابة ولم يكن أحدث, and he has not performed any hadath, any minor dot that we have mentioned, or even the major one, either urine or rih or any of those, بعد اغتساله, after the shower, ثم أراد الصلاة, and he intends to pray, فلا يلزمه, it's not compulsory on him أن يتوضأ, to perform ablution, wudu'an akhar, another ablution. So that is one of the benefits of sifatu kamala. If a person did the ghusl in this mentioned format, in which he performed ablutions, all these that I mentioned, after that, if you want to pray, you don't have to perform ablution, it's not compulsory. So this is a benefit of sifatu kamala. If, however, a person performs sifatul ajza, you just go to the shower or you go to the pool or anything, you wash, then when you come to pray, you have to perform ablution because you have not done it in the event of the bath. Number two, يجوز للرجل اغتسال مع زوجته بإجماع المسلمين. It's permissible for a husband to have a shower, a spiritual shower, a spiritual bath with مع زوجته, with his wife, بإجماع المسلمين, on the general consensus of Islamic scholars. So because Prophet ﷺ also performed it, so it's permissible for Muslims to do it. Third, يجوز الاغتسال عريانا. It's permissible for a person to perform a shower without any clothes on their body, في الخلوة, but in isolation. يعني من غير أمام الناس, meaning in the absence of people. If there is nobody seeing, then they can perform their shower without any clothes on them. Number four, إذا أحدث قبل تمام الغسل. If they have hadath before the completion of the bath, فإنه يتم الغسل. You will just complete your shower. Let's say, for example, while you are having the shower and maybe you are washing some part of the body and then somebody urinates or somebody give a rih. This doesn't mean you have to start the shower from the beginning. Of course, if you are making ablution, the ablution is gone, but the shower is still intact. So if you are going to perform ablution or if you are going to pray, then you can perform your ablution, but that doesn't mean you have to start the shower all over. So that's why إذا أحدث قبل تمام الغسل, if somebody has hadath before the completion of the shower, فإنه يتم الغسل, you just complete your shower, ولا يعيده, you don't have to repeat it, لأن الحدث, because the hadath لا يؤثر, it does not affect وجوده, لا يؤثر وجوده في الغسل. Its happenings will have no any effect on the shower. But of course, if you perform ablution, then you have to repeat the ablution. Number five, لا بأس في تأخير الغسل من الجنابة. It's not faulty there, it's no fault, it's not wrong to delay غسل الجنابة. Like if someone has janaba, which generally, as we have mentioned earlier, it's in two forms, either having an intercourse where there is physical contact, or as a result of ihtilam, where sperm is released. So if this happens, it's not like compulsory for us to immediately take a shower. We can delay, if of course we are not going to pray, or if of course it's not time for prayer, if there is nothing to do, so you can delay and be okay, I can do it later. So لا بأس في هذا. There is no fault, there is nothing wrong with that. من الجنابة from janaba. وإن كان الأفضل, even though it is preferred, the most preferred act, البداية به, doing it very quick. This is the most preferred. If you delay it, it's not bad, but it's really preferred if you do it very fast. Number 6, ليس على الجنوب حرج في إزالة الشعر. There is no fault, there is nothing wrong if a person has janaba to إزالة الشعر, to cut his hair, to have a haircut. There is nothing wrong. أو قص الأظافر, or to cut your nails. There is nothing wrong with that. So even if there is janaba, even before the shower, there is nothing wrong with cutting the hair, and there is nothing wrong with cutting the nail, because these somehow they could give an impression that, but if I cut the hair, then if something happens to the hair. Especially why he mentioned this, because technically when you look, it said that we have to wash our hair to the extent that the water should reach the roots of our hair. So there could be a belief or an understanding that, okay, since we have to wash the hair, that might mean the hair is najasa itself. That might mean if I cut the hair, then I cut najasa or something like that. But there is nothing verifying that in Islam. So that's why they mention these kind of things, because you don't know what someone's understanding could take him to. So it's not anything, it's not bad if we cut our hair or we cut our nails after janaba, even before the bath. ولا بأس بمكالمة الآخرين. Also, there is nothing wrong in talking to other people. If someone has janaba, it doesn't mean it's bad to talk to people without taking a shower. Somebody can talk to someone. It's not any of advantage. والخروج إلى السوق, and even going to the market. If you want, you can go to the market. وعليه janaba, and he still has janaba. So this is generally to say that there is no specific timing that a person must do ghusl janaba. The only thing is that you cannot perform any act of ibadah before it, and the timing is not specifically mentioned by some hours or by some minutes after the janaba or by any measurement, but it's really preferred if we do it as fast as possible, and there is no restriction to what someone can do because they have janaba. There is no restriction as to places you can go, there is no restriction as to who to talk to, and there is no restriction on which topic to discuss. There is no restriction of any sort. So this is the whole idea he's trying to mention here. Number 7, استحباب الوضوء وغسل الذكر للجنب قبل الاغتسال إذا أراد النوم قبل غسل الجنابة. استحباب الوضوء, it's really important, it's really good al-wudu, to perform an ablution, وغسل الذكر, and to clean or to wash a private part, للجنب, for a person who has janaba, قبل الاغتسال, before they take a shower, إذا أراد النوم, if they intend to sleep. If a person has janaba and they intend to sleep before taking a shower, so it's really recommended that they perform ablution and to wash their private part قبل غسل الجنابة, before the غسل الجنابة, before washing for janaba. So this is one of the teachings that we need to do that. Number 8, the last one. لو انغمس من يجب عليه الغسل. لو انغمس, if he's going to dip himself, like you're going to dip yourself, who? من يجب عليه الغسل, a person who is compulsory for him to take a spiritual bath, في بحر, in a sea. If you're going to dip yourself أو نهر or pool. The difference in the sea, the water is moving, while in the case of pool and nahar, it's stagnant. It doesn't move anywhere. We have to take it like a pool. We have to take it out and then remove it. So if a person is going to dip themselves when a one ghusl and they intend to take the shower, sahha ghusl. His shower or his spiritual bath is valid. It's valid. So why? Because the main aim, the main thing is ta'yin al-jasadi bil-ma, is for water to reach every part of the body. So if someone is going to dip themselves into a pool or into a river and it's going to reach every part of the body, then it's permissible. لأن المقصود, because the main aim of this spiritual bath is تعميم الجسد بالماء, is for water to reach all parts of the body. So in this case, there is one important aspect which he has not mentioned, which if you read all كتب الفقه للمالكية is الدلك. They say even if you reach, you have to, yes, you have to rub the body, because the dipping will make water to reach the body, but there are some nooks and crannies that you really need to open up for the water to reach, like these places, some parts of the eyes like this. So that's why you see in Fiqh Maliki generally they mention the two necessities is ta'mim al-jasad bil-ma wa al-dalk, and you have to wash, because there are many places where water cannot reach. So in these places generally he has not mentioned anything of that, but it's really much better if we are going to do a dalk, we are going to rub our body with the water, because this will help in the water reaching all parts of the body. So generally, when we look at this chapter, it's just talking about al-ghusl al-janaba. That's how to wash ourselves from ghusl al-janaba, and this janaba, it mainly happens as a result of release or intercourse, or a woman that is having damul hayd or damul nifas, or in some cases which there are disagreements. In the case of ghusl al-jum'ah, there is disagreement. Some scholars they say it's wajib, some say it's not wajib, and also ghusl lidukhul al-Islam, also taking a shower if a person enters Islam. Some there are generally, but generally it's Julum min ulama, they think that a person has to take a shower before, because the reason that was mentioned for those that say they don't have to take a shower is like Abu Hanifa and his mother mentioned that if somebody becomes a Muslim, all his bad deeds are deleted. So this does not really apply to taking a shower, because there is one bin Uthal, not once, not twice, Prophet ﷺ asked people to go and take a shower after they become Muslims, so they need to take a shower. But you know, it's aspect of knowledge, the disagreement has to be mentioned. So out this, and then there are places where it's mustahab. So in these cases, we need to take a shower, and this shower is of two types. There is sifatul ajza, there is sifatul kamal. The sifatul ajza, it just has two additions. It has two additions. First, washing of the head separately, and second, ablution. These are just two additions. While in the other case, it's just washing the entire body with water. And the benefit of doing the first format with ablution is that if you want to pray, you can use the same ablution to pray. You don't have to repeat it. When the disadvantage of using a sifatul ajza is that if you come to pray, you have to perform ablution. And we also observed that it's necessary for us to perform niyyah, which we do not mention it, which we do not pronounce it with our tongue. It's act of the mind, or it's act of the heart. So we should do it, or we should intend it, and the shower is enough. So this is all about this chapter, but he has a tadribat, which he said, عرف الغسل تعريفا مناسبا. عرف الغسل تعريفا مناسبا. ما معنى هذا؟
إفادة is like give it the terminology or definition of what's also
مناسبة.
إفادة الماء الطهور على جميع البدن والنية أيضا.
والنية أيضا. These are the two things. إفادة الماء yes. بالماء الطهور مع النية. These are the things. See, اكتب 4 من الأغسال الواجبة. 4 من الأغسال الواجبة. خروج المني.
الموت. الإسلام بعد الكفر.
الموت. الإسلام بعد الكفر. الموت.
التقاء الختانين.
نعم، التقاء الختانين.
صلاة الجمعة.
صلاة الجمعة. Yes, صلاة الجمعة. He mentioned them as wajib, so we go according to. وخمسة من الأغسال المستحبة. مستحبة.
الوقوف بعرفة.
نعم، الوقوف بعرفة.
قبل دخول مكة.
نعم، غسل دخول مكة. للعيدين.
الغسل بعد اغتسال الميت.
بعد اغتسال
اغتسال الكافر أيضا.
نعم، وغسل بعد اغتسال الكافر أو مشرك. جيد. اذكر الزيادة الواردة في غسل الحيض والنفاس ولم تكن في الغسل الآخر. الصابون. using صابون. الصابون أو السدرة. نعم.
وتتبع أثر الدم.
نعم، تتبع أثر الدم بالخطل مع
قماشة مع
الطيب.
مع الطيب أو المسك.
الفاضحة.
نعم. The last one.
هل الضفائر استحباب
نعم.
الضفائر؟
نعم.
If it's possible.
نعم. تحل الضفائر. And then اذكر 3 فوائد من فوائد الغسل.
They can pray
without performing ablution again.
What was the question again? Sorry.
اذكر 3 فوائد من فوائد الغسل. 3 فوائد.
الطهارة.
نعم.
الطهارة.
Yes, because this is a general question.
يجوز الاغتسال عريانا مع الخلوة.
مع الخلوة. Yes.
يجوز للرجل أن يغتسل مع زوجته.
نعم. ينبغي. So these are the things. So I think we're going to stop here. We finish spiritual bath. Inshallah, next week we're going to start with At-Tayin. Everything that is right is from Allah. Everything that is wrong is from me. May Allah accept it.